time to gather together. Hi there, I'm Yelta, and I'll be playing the first round while we chat about Final Fantasy XIV. This is episode 210. Hope that you're enjoying us. On the menu tonight, we will announce our contest winner. The Feast Season 15 results revealed as Season 16 commences. New optional items available. Gather One, Gather All, Yokai Watch returns to Eorzea. Leve turn-in checkbox and additional housing. The Rising returns. And patch 5.3 notes and our reactions or experiences. This will be no spoilers, though. We will not spoil you as much as humanly possible. But first, let's shoot the shit. What has been going on this week? Hey, Ruby.
Hey, Yelta. How are you?
I am excellent. How are you?
I am excellent as well. Happy patch week, whatever. I know it's been a week, but we wanted to collect our thoughts, play a lot, really get some good experiences in. And that's what I've been doing. A lot of patch 5.3, maybe a little bit of some previous patches that I wasn't caught up on. Stuff like the Kakirin, whatever they're called on the first turn-ins. Just some little odds and ends trying to get things done. Managed to cap. But I'm still kind of doing some backlog because I didn't completely buy all the Crystarium gear in the last patch. So I'm slowly buying gear as well. I'm having to collect tomes. But I'm also getting in there, the Pumpets bunker and the previous raid and getting my coins. So I'm on the progress. I'm mapping the gear out. I'm starting to build. And I'm doing some fun stuff on the side too. I'm leveling some low-level characters. I finally got a warrior. I'd had Marauder for 1.0 since 1.0. And I was like, let me just get it was 26. It was come on, dude. Just get this to 30 and finish it. So I got out there. And I was doing this again last night. And I'm so dumb. I was out there on my Lancer, because my Lancer's 26. I don't have a Dragoon. I have a Lancer. So I'm out there on my Lancer, and I'm fucking around in Quarry Mill and going wow, this is actually a lot of fun. There was a bunch of people out, and I was like, man, these fates are going fast, and, now we can fly, so that was fun to begin with. This is really cool. We were in shout chat talking and stuff, and then I'm like, why are all these people out here? Oh, fuck, Yokai Watch. I'm not even getting medals for this.
Oh,
I'm out here getting experience. So I went back to the armoire and got my wristwatch and came back. So now I'm collecting medals and experience. But I did happen to be, because I'm dumb again, in the correct zone. I was in South Shroud, I think, and I was trying to get the bow. And I happened to be in the right zone, and I'm getting my Whisper coins. But yeah, it's a thing. So I have to study back up on all my Yokai Watch stuff. Thankfully, we'll talk about that in this episode here. So if you have not read up on your yokai stuff, get your Blue Mage ready, because that's the hotness, right? And all kinds of other stuff. I was on the hunt train today doing some hunts, and life's good, Yelta. We're in patch season, and we'll talk about it when we get to the other stuff. So I'll kick it over to you and let you talk about what you did.
I did also all the patch things, plus some Ruby Farm, plus some Stardew Valley with my mom and both my sisters, plus some Ark. I've been playing all the games, a tiny bit of Animal Crossing, but mostly it's been 14, and it's mostly been the patch. So I think we'll save our patch thoughts for that section. But yeah, I had a very fun week of gaming.
What about Moonfire? That's not patch related, right?
Yeah, I did that immediately, and I did that also on my alt. It was cute. I thought it was cute. It was fast. I know a lot of people really enjoyed the fact that you could pretty much just do the fate twice and be done with it. Mm-hmm. I don't mind that, I guess. Yeah,
I was the same way. It was, I don't want to call it throwaway content. It's fun to do. I like the cast of characters they bring out because, they've all built lore. I think every seasonal event now has its own lore and cast of characters that show up every time. And so you got the same cast of characters, and you could see the NPCs, like the little girl with the purple hair, and, people that you've seen in the previous ones. And I like that they always play homage to the Bombard quest, which Yelta and I participated in. We're Cascaders for life. We got that Bombard. And I appreciate that the flame dance is not an exact replica of the bomb dance. So when people do their flame dance, I bust my bomb dance out, you know. But it was fun. It was a cute little event, and the gear is super cute. I think that gear is pretty amazing looking, and you know, we got to hula, so it's a good event.
Yeah. No, that was definitely a cool short. Some people were a little sad that there was
no platforms.
What?
No platform jumping?
Yes, yeah, and I can't really argue with that. There was no platform jumping, and I guess,
well, Yelta, what do we have now?
Well, we have flying, but okay, so as someone who experimented with you and flying, we flew around, right? Some of the got some really cool screenshots, and we're looking for places for like free company pictures, and so I thought, I never finish my sightseeing log, right? I'm like, this ought to be cake now, right? No, they just make it so you can't land on things.
Yeah.
They could just make it so you cannot land on a jumping puzzle. Maybe they didn't want to put in that much work this year or something, but I don't think there's any reason they couldn't disallow flying there.
Yeah.
You know,
something they can work on.
Yeah. Well, there's even like you know, if you go to like the dwarf town, there is some invisible barrier that you cannot get through. That it's not collision on the building. There's like a debuff. They could just debuff an entire area around the flying puzzle or something. I mean, they could do something at the jumping puzzle.
Hey, and you know, if they can do that, they can do a lot of other things with some big zones that have areas that you have to walk. You know, I mean, there could be some possibilities there.
No, yeah. Pretty much did the patch. I did it. I did the Moonfire on my alt also. And she's a kitty girl, and she's really cute in the outfit. I dyed it the color I usually dye all her stuff, and she actually has boobs, so that's kind of nice. That was my new fishing outfit for the week. So
nice.
Yeah. All right. But that's about my week. You can shoot the shit with us if you want to. Go to the website or email us or whatever and let us know what you've been up to. We do have a contest winner.
Yeah.
Yay. I thank you everybody who entered, but Chris is our winner. You have been emailed. If you
Congrats, Chris.
Look in the spam. I don't think we've heard back yet. And your Peacock mount has been purchased, and I assume the code sent. So.
Yeah. Well, get with us. I want to make sure that it goes to the right spot.
You want to make sure you got the right stuff. All right. Then the first round is news. The Feast Season 15 results were revealed and 16 commences. I think I didn't even click on this. I know we saw what Feast
the rewards were.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious. There was Feast Season 16 rankings. Oh, they don't have a link on here, but the Feast rankings for the 15th season are up. Oh, there's www. Oh, and ABCDEFGHJKLMNO. Yep.
Hey, no matter what your name is, if you can kick ass, you can kick ass. I love these things that they get. I love that, you know, they get some cool armor, the trophies. You know, I wish I was Excalibur, but I'm not. Cool, Mel.
I'm just not a very, very good...
Just drop me in the front lines.
Yeah, I haven't even queued up for any of that stuff in a while. And I still eventually need to, you know, grind out mounts out of there. But I kind of figure eventually I'll get them. So, yeah, let's see. When does the season... Oh, the season also starts. So, at the same time. So
back to back, huh?
Yeah, I guess. So good luck, everybody. New optional items are available. These are merely last year's Moonfire Fair outfits, which are all right looking.
Yeah, I like the. I think it was called Hoppy or something. I don't know. It's the one on the bottom right. I wear often. I've got some like orange colored shorts I got from a previous year, I guess, and I put on the white sunglasses and some sandals. It's a mismatch of several years, but that one looks okay. But yeah, last year's wasn't like the greatest. This year's is amazing.
This year's is really nice. Yeah. Oh, and I did get the this year I got the bombard thing you put in your yard. I put it in my yard.
Yeah.
At my house. And at first I was sad because I'm like, there's no lights. It's not lit up.
Oh.
Oh, no, but at night it is.
At night it's lit, yeah.
It just isn't lit up during the day, so.
And it's big. I mean, it's real size. It's not a miniature. It's like the real size of the ship.
Yeah, it's nice looking. I like it. All right, then we have the Yokai Watch event is back again. Gather one, gather all. That is from August 19th till the release of patch 5.4. So we have probably months, right? Mm-hmm. You don't have to go crazy.
I'd say it's, a solid 3 months?
Mm-hmm. It is a zany collaboration event. It is identical to the one in 2016 and 2017, with the addition of Samurai, Red Mage, Gunbreaker, Dancer weapons, and 4 minions for those. So I was a little confused when I logged in on Yelta, because I'm like, where's a quest? It's not there, but I've already done the quest.
Right.
So you just go to the gold saucer. I had to go get my watch back out of the armoire. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But, same. Yeah. So you were working on this. Did you go get your watch ever?
Yeah, of course. I went immediately back and got the watch and went back to the zone and started picking up medals right away. So yeah, that was a misstep on my part. And then I did the same thing that you did. I didn't really freak out about the quest. Like, I skimmed over the poor healed youth information here, and I kind of skimmed down, and I was like, now what? Why do I need separate types of coins? Because it is a little confusing. You get just the regular coins and you buy the minions. Then you have to use the minion, go to the correct corresponding zone to farm that minion's medals, and then get 10 of those medals to get the weapon. And rinse, wash, repeat. So that part's a little confusing. Again, I stumbled into it this time because I completely forgot that I had to use Whisper in certain zones. So if you're listening to this and you're like, I'm trying this with Yokai and it's not working, check it out again. You might be in the wrong zone trying to farm medals. So. And
there's some nice infographics out there, I think.
Yeah.
Is it Kayuka Star did one? Is that who did one?
I've seen one in multiple colors. Yeah. I've seen one that had I've seen a shortened one that had some misinformation on it. So check sources. But, nothing's changed in some of those old sources unless you're looking for the new stuff. But I can tell you now, it corresponds with the expansion that job came out in. So, if you're doing the Red Mage stuff, you want to be in Stormblood zones. Was it Red? Yeah, Red Mage came out in Stormblood zones to do that. And likewise, anything that was in in Heavensward, you want to be in the Heavensward zone.
Well, for those, it's any of those zones.
Right.
So, 2 of them was any Stormblood zone, and 2 of them was any Heavensward zone.
Right.
And it was just, just find a party and join it, And that's what I did. I found fate parties to go to.
And you pretty much have to, because they're just like the hunt trades. You can hardly see the enemies if you've got effects turned on. You might want to dim other people's effects. I ended up having to do that in our Shiva party. I was talking to Yelta about this. The blue dot that appears over your head, I was having issues seeing things because of that. So you might want to turn that down when you're doing these events, because everybody and their mom is out of these zones, and they're kind of small, and it's just like this one little spot. I don't think Yoshida really knew how many people were going to cram into one spot when he made these fates.
How many people wanted to do it day one, right?
Yeah.
I know people give us a bad, you're rushing the content or whatever, and I'm like, but it's the content that's out.
Right. You do what you got in front of you. It's my motto.
Yeah. So how many minions and weapons and stuff do you have?
Christ, Yelta. I think in the previous one, I'd gotten enough to get the mount, whatever the mount, not the glowy mount, but just the regular ass mount. And I don't know what it even. Maybe that was nothing.
13 weapons,
so I got all the minions, and I had gotten maybe 3 or 4 weapons. I really didn't try that hard on the weapons because I didn't care. I only had a few jobs that I really cared about. Now, if you ask me, I want the glowy sperm mount because this is my 3rd chance to get it, and I might as well try to get it. And that new mount looks pretty amazing. I'm seeing a lot of good stuff out of that mount. And I do like the new weapons, though. I play Red Mage a lot, so I think it'd be cool to have Red Mage weapon, and maybe that's it for the new ones. If I had to just choose,
the Dancer one wasn't bad. I kind of liked the Dancer one.
No, it looks good. Yeah. Do I play Dancer?
Oh,
that's
no,
kind of
yeah,
it.
I don't
whatever.
Play anything but White Mage, really. So,
but you get all the things anyway. So
I do, and I did. I already got my mount from this event. Yeah. I'm done.
Yeah. Do you love it?
It's actually kind of a cute mount. I don't know how much I'll use it, but it's different. Some people were like, Jesus Christ, Yelta, and I'm like, but it really took me 4 hours.
Yeah.
Right? It wasn't
For people who have already done this before. I mean, again, everybody, this is the third time. So if you had even remotely gotten close on the previous ones, this is going to take you 4 hours or whatever to do it, you know? Get your 10 coins apiece for 4, right? 40 coins and you're done.
Yeah. Well, I had to get enough of the regular yokai coins to buy the 4, and I maybe did it in a dumb order. I went and farmed up, 12, because it's only 3 each. I had to farm up 12 of the regular medals to go buy the 4 new mounts. Mm-hmm. Minions. Then I stayed out farming. It's kind of funny because I had the job I was on. I dragged up into the corner, or up to one of my hot bars, the minion, the coin, the minion, the coin, the minion, the coin. So I could just see how many of each I had. And it just wasn't, it didn't take that long. I haven't decided if I'm going to do it on my alt or not yet. She's not all 80s, so this might actually benefit her to get some EXP also. Because on Yelta, I've got everything's 80 too, so I don't know. But it was a cute, interesting little event.
I feel like the only thing I want to say is don't complain about this kind of shit. Like, I know we don't always get an ultimate fight, and I know we don't always get things, but like shit like this does get the community together, and it is fun, mindless content that allows us to do things. We didn't even think in the beginning we were going to be able to do as much open world as, this, and maybe it does push the limits. But remember, 2.0 days, they were like, oh yeah, hunts in the overworld and things, like, nah, we're not into that. Everything's instanced. And we're like, what? You stole all our overworld content. So it's kind of nice to have these zones liven up again and do things. And yeah, it's dumb. It's like farming Atma or whatever, but
it's not thrilling content, but I chatted with the parties I was in.
It's something. It's there for now.
It's there.
Enjoy it.
Well, and it also got me used to flying in A Realm Reborn zones, honestly.
If you're not flying in A Realm Reborn zones and looking at all the shit, you're missing out. It's some fun, beautiful looking stuff out there.
Yeah. No, I quite enjoy flying in the Realm Reborn zone. Oh my goodness. Let's see. There's not much else. It is a little confusing. If you haven't done the event, just go look it up. Right now on the forums, I've got the coins. I bought the minions. I don't know, or no, and they farmed up stuff, but they don't have the weapons yet. I think they're like, I don't know what to do now. Just go. You have to read the webpage very carefully, and if that fails, go find. A couple people have little guides out now, so. Or ask your free company. Ask your link shells. All right, Leve, turn-in checkbox, and additional housing. This kind of came out of the blue. I, first of all, never noticed the Leve checkbox. So there's now a new confirmation checkbox for Leve quests. So they introduced a whole bunch of additions and stuff. One which was a confirmation checkbox when trading high-quality items to NPCs. But because the process for trading items was designed to be shared by various UI elements, an unfortunate side effect was it also applies to the completion of Leve quest and Grand Company supply and provisioning missions, which players commonly are purposely using high quality items. So the most obvious consequence is players must check the confirmation box every time they complete these quests and missions, which can be bothersome, and turning in Leve quests take more time, considerably lowering player efficiency. So they're going to make some more adjustments so that the handing of turn-ins for Leve quest and supply and provisioning missions are going to be processed separately. And they'll hotfix that at the end of August.
Okay.
I mean, and they're terribly sorry and whatever, and it's like, as a programmer, I've done this. I have modified a user interface, and it affected something that QA didn't notice.
Well, I don't know if they fixed it or not, but if you try your sumo flooring in Animal Crossing, at least for the most recent patch, it looks like whatever the walls are. It absorbs the image of the wall and it puts it there. Somebody has flipped a switch and changed something, and it made sumo flooring fucky. And this is a AAA first-party Nintendo title. It happens.
All right, and now we have housing shortages, horse shortages. I don't know where my brain was, guys.
There are whore shortages?
There's a massive...
The brothels are
brothels
closing.
Oh, my goodness. It reminds me of something. I'll talk about it later. All right, housing shortages and a rising player population. Now that patch 5.3 is finally here and the game's free trial has been expanded, there's been a marked increase in the number of people playing, to which we are extremely grateful. That said, they've paused housing demolition because of COVID, and they apologize, especially to the newly joined players. There's a lack of housing. No shit, Sherlock. But I think some of us forget if we've already got our own house, our free company already has a house. You know, the camping for the ones that do sometimes show up is intense and painful.
Oh, big time. Yeah.
Mm. All right, so they are planning to do a couple things. They're improving data centers to allow for additional plots. The data centers are going to require additional servers. They're making preparations to account for the cost of these additional servers, but due to restrictions on shipments from Japan and other countries due to COVID-19, as well as the potential necessity of quarantine upon entry and re-entry to different countries, work to ready the servers is slow going. I don't think anyone can hold that against them.
No.
All right, provisional measures. In light of the difficulties in improving the data centers, the development team is doing what it can to optimize the servers for the addition of as many housing plots as they can by the release of patch 5.4. They're going to do a follow-up announcement once they figure how much that's going to help and whatever. And they're also very, very sorry about the UI problem and the lack of housing. So they wish us all fun times.
Well,
I wish they would just
this
fucking
dead horse.
It's the same problem they've had forever.
The small indie company and their small indie servers, and that they should have never let housing be sold to anybody but free companies, and it had instanced apartments from the get-go.
Nice instanced apartments.
And nice ones with gardening and everything that was acceptable for everybody else. A Mog House Plus from 11. And it could have been all sunshine and rainbows, but nope, that's not how it went. And now we have whole free companies that have, whole wards on certain servers and just ridiculousness all over the place.
Yep, it's a bad situation. And every time it comes up in like Novice Network or the free company my alt's in, I'm like, it's shitty. We all know it's shitty, but you gotta let it go. I mean, I'm like, right? First of all, Square Enix knows. Yoshi P is not... He knows about the problem, right?
Sure.
It's a problem. He knows it. He's talked about it
Well, he knew it was
often.
a problem. He knew it was a problem when he made... Well, there was some time that they did something, and it was like they patched it, and it was some kind of solution, and it was the worst solution. It was like the first time they tried to fix housing. And I don't remember what they did. They threw like 3 extra wards or something, but they kept the system the same way, and it was just like a ridiculous shit show. There is nothing that gets me to log back into this game than the fear of me losing my personal house. Honestly. Like, if you think you're going to take a month break or some shit, good luck. You'll lose all your shit. I don't know what the timer is, 45 days. I don't remember what it is. But, good luck saying, hey, I'm skipping this patch and getting back to it. You're losing your house if that happens. So
yeah.
The mob will repo your house. I don't know how else to say it. It does feel like, hey, Yoshida says play whenever you want. Do whatever you want. Just don't own property.
Well, and he did some comment way, way back before they did housing even, saying that they were never going to put an upkeep cost or whatever. Okay, there's not an in-game upkeep cost, but there's like a real-world money cost of having to, keep
that
your
is the upkeep cost. It's your real hard-earned dollars. And even if I'm paying my dollars, Yelta, if my happy ass don't log in, I still lose it.
Yep. No, it's a shitty system, and the horse is glue. All right, the Rising returns from August 27th to September 14th. The Rising Festival is here. The 7th anniversary is here. Wow. To take part, to earn a new minion and furnishing item. Come play the game, I guess. The image is cute. It's a Sultana and all her little Lalafels. All right. The Art of Glass is the name of the first quest. You do get it in Olda, not far from the Telecrystal, it looks like. You have to be level 15. The minion looks adorable. It's a
awesome
little wind-up aardbart.
I read somebody say this looks a lot like a Bravely Default character, and indeed
It kind of does. So,
yeah, I don't know. I don't know anything about this this story. I mean, I guess we're going to find out, but it's something about the Sultana's 7. I don't really
I think
know
the game
about
tells
that.
you something about that. I don't know if it was Black Mage quests or what.
Huh.
There's something about, I think anyway. It didn't seem odd to me that was the title of it. I'm like, oh yeah, that was a story.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, I'm excited. And they're not giving away our Dalamud horn.
And they're not giving away a Dalamud horn. That I am pleased. Maybe they're saving that for the 10-year anniversary, so I've got a few years left. But no, they're not. And that discussion came up in our Discord recently, and I'm going to die on that hill. Yoshida better not cross that Rubicon. Ha ha. But yeah, thankfully they've come up with some different things, and there's a good story behind this year's Rising, and I hope we never forget the Rising because it brought us here together. I don't think it ever will, but I hope every player does understand the significance of the Rising event, and that some of us did see Dalamud fall, and this game is amazing. It's the reminder that we've been playing it for a very long time. My sore wrist was telling me that today, and we've been through a lot with this game, and it's meant a lot to many of us in our lives. So, kudos, 14. Hope for many more years.
For sure. But I was angry earlier this week when I was cleaning out my bags and I threw away my duplicate White Ravens. That's all I'm going to say.
Were they replicas?
They don't get me started. They were not. Patch 5.3.
Hey,
is here. We have notes, and I think did it sound like I was railing on people in the free company beforehand to read the fucking patch notes? Because I may have come off as a bitch.
I don't know. We have a resource, and we always make sure that we talk about our good friend Catella at Catella's Corner. We're going to read you a bunch of patch notes. We always say we won't, but we're going to. And it's going to be about another 2.5 hours that you'll hang out with us. But if you don't want to listen to 2.5 hours of patch notes, go to Catella's Corner. Do you have that pulled up, Yelta? Do you know that?
I do. I had it up
Catella,
on my Twitters, and it's gone now.
Katella.wordpress.com. Again, Katella.wordpress.com. Catella's Corner. She puts out all the information for unlocking that patch's content. It's up to date. I like to use it. My Sita, who's been playing recently and is caught up to patch 5.1 through 5.1. She's starting 5.2. She's using it as a guide for her to unlock everything within that patch before she moves on to the next one. So if you don't want to listen to us rail on about what to do, where to go, and all that, Catella's Corner is a good resource for you.
Yeah, a lot of people use Miss Kyoko Star does like a one image thing too that has unlocking reflections and crystal. And their stuff is they always do the fashion report too every week, all in one nice big image.
Oh,
so
yeah.
Both of those are good places to go look. All right, so they're proud to bring it to us. Blah 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 blah. In red was additional features will be implemented in future updates. So Ishgardian Restoration isn't part of this. The Relic isn't part of this. The Sky Steel, all of that is 5.35. And 5.31. So, all right. With playable content, you know what? There was main scenario quests added.
Was there?
There was. I burned through those.
You were going to say you burned through them? I was like, when is this over? Not in a bad sense.
Not in a bad way. Yeah.
I like the story. Again, no spoilers. I was very happy at the end of the story. It pleased me. But the quest line, I was like, a lot of times they throw us a quest and it's like, bop, 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 and you're done. And I know Yoshida said there was going to be a lot of cutscenes, but I thought it was going to be like maybe 4 or 5 quests with like 30-minute cutscenes of me watching stuff. I didn't realize it was going to be so many quests.
Yeah, it was quite a few quests.
Your thoughts on the story, for what you can say?
It was pretty much exactly what I expected it to be.
Really?
It pretty much.
Okay.
Yeah, I was unsurprised by anything that happened in the entire. Well, one thing surprised me a little bit, but not really. No, pretty much the whole thing was about what I thought it was going to be, which was not a complaint, mind you.
Right.
It's not a complaint, and I'm actually honestly sometimes happier that they don't throw me a giant, twist or something.
Yeah, it doesn't always have to be a fuck you every single time. I don't think that's much of a spoiler, but I mean, it doesn't have to be a fuck you in your face every time, having to see, and as soon as something happens, you turn around and here's another Dalamud or something else. Here's another calamity about to happen. We don't always need that. Now, with that being said, what were you going to say first?
We knew this was going to be hopefully tying a bow on the shenanigans in the first, right? So, and we, so I think that part probably wasn't a surprise. We know what the quests were, what we had to get done by the end of this patch.
What about the end? There's always an end, a little cutscene at the end.
That was a little. Did they get a new sweat engine? A new liquid engine? All I could think of was he's sweaty and creepy. There was a lot of discussion. And I'm like, the vibe is a little molesty.
Yeah, there's some weird stuff going on. There's some weird stuff going on there, but like also the face, somebody pulls off a mask and you see a face of somebody. You recall that?
No, my brain shut off.
Well, there's a face.
Oh, Christ, yes. No, I blinked it out. I'm like, Jesus. No,
I know what you're talking about.
You could hear my eyeballs roll from here. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like, no, I did not want that.
Yeah.
I'm so mad they did that, actually.
Yoshida being Yoshida, and all I can say to that is, I hope, in that sense, they do pull Dalamud back.
Just crush that person.
This is where I need one of them. Like, okay, I watched Mean Girls for the first time recently, and I don't know if you've ever seen Mean Girls.
I don't think I've ever seen that. Go on.
I thought it was going to be what it sounds like, but it's an SNL comedy. So it's actually really good. It's a Tina Fey. If you remember like SNL 2004 kind of era, this is what we're talking about.
Vaguely, yeah. Okay, so it's along those lines. So
it's actually pretty good. But what I'm getting at is what I need is for whoever unmasked themselves to walk across the street and that bus to come out of nowhere and just run this person completely over. Like, I need something coming out of left field to just destroy this individual or maybe two individuals and get them out of a story. I'm done with these two.
Both of them, actually. I'm so mad because I liked so much of Shadowbringers that we still have to. I don't like Xenos, and I'm sorry I don't like Xenos. And some people really get excited by him or love his character, and I'm like, he's so boring to me.
He's so flat. Not his ass, but he's so flat, his character. I just don't really. You get the warmongering thing. Now maybe we will get what the thing, why he has the echo and how he got infused in some other business as we go. And of course the unmasking of our individual here. I'm wondering what's happening with that. Do we have Blanks Gone Wild now? And so, and so we're just doing what we want. I don't know what's happening, but that's more intriguing to me, other than the face that was revealed that goes, please just drop a meteor on these two right now.
Just I don't know. I think they're trying to give us breadcrumbs of being interested in what the fuck's going on with Xenos himself. Mm-hmm. But I don't know if I care. I mean, I'm hoping that the next, what do we got? What was this? 5 point...
We got 2 more patches.
So by the normal thing, we got 2 more major patches, probably.
So the next one will probably be bullshitty. And then they'll try to give us some kind of 2-parter layup dunk in 5.5 and 5.55.
Usually
which
just
will be
the they'll tie up some loose ends and lead us to whatever the next thing's going to be.
You know,
we should be getting a flavor for that in the next, more of a flavor of that.
Papalimo with a green Dalamud hanging over our heads, and we go into...
Oh, they just ignored that poor Lalafell ever since he got dead. They'd mention, he got dead, and everything.
I guess I got to kill him one more time.
See, I love Yelta and Papalimo, so I'm always like, you murdered my son and my daughter.
So you started in Gridania. I was Olda, so I feel a very solid connection to the whole, Alicia, whatever her name was, up to Minfilia, Acilia to Minfilia, to Thancred and all that stuff. So when I was getting a lot of that Thancred stuff, which I'm almost finished, I didn't say this in the Let's Shoot the Shit. My paladin is 79, so I am almost 80 and can finish off my tank quests and get to see all the other shit that happened to the Warriors of Darkness.
Right, okay.
But anyway, I'm in a good spot. I'm liking what I'm seeing from anything. I actually lost my train of thought. Moving on to that. So.
Well, we were talking about main scenario, but not like the main scenario because we can't really talk about it.
Yeah, it is what it is. But I thought the storyline was very good. We'll see where it goes. I don't like necessarily, but maybe they will give us an M. Shyamalan twist, and we will have something pretty wacky happen. That's my hope.
I just want things to feel, I don't know, believable or something, and not be like this asshole again. I was just like, no.
Where are they going to come up with the magic puppet masters? I guess that's kind of what I'm thinking.
Oh, yeah.
Who are the magic puppet masters behind the scenes that are going to control the darkness and give us a sense of, like, who's the spookiness that we have to fight now? Because as it stands, I don't want to do Stormblood 2 Electric Boogaloo.
No,
I'm just not feeling that. Where we on 4 different fronts trying to go into Garlemald. From the west, south, east, and, Arctic North. Who knows what they throw at us.
I don't know. And yeah, I've seen a lot of people worried, what's going to happen now? What is 6.0 going to be? Can they top what they've done or even come close to what they've done?
Right.
When I finished watching, when the 5.0 credits were rolling, it did sneak into my head was, oh my God. Now what? How are they going to keep up this quality?
This could be the peak. We could be at peak Final Fantasy XIV, and everything else is going to be like, well, I don't know. People say Wings of the Goddess was the best expansion, but I didn't get far enough into that to do anything. But, where we're talking like, hey, these are just, rhapsodies of whatever. I'm comparing this 14 to 11, where it's just like, hey, and down the line, they're like, oh, 14's getting some new content. What is a 6.0? What does a 7.0 look like at that stage? Or, is it something completely different? They just throw us way out west. We got the Wallachie way out west, or Legends of Pandaria. I don't know what they're going to do with this.
Please, no. But I sometimes wonder what's going to happen, and who's going to be the big bad, and who's going to, maybe there won't be a big bad. Maybe 6.0 is we are explorers now. We are pioneers now. I mean, I don't know.
Maybe it's Xenos' both ass cheeks come at you from 2 different directions to swallow you whole. It's an amazing battle.
I don't want that.
There's some thirsty ass people that would want that.
I don't want that. All right. But I probably had more thoughts as I went through it, but honest to God, I couldn't tell you right now. Let me just scroll through my screenshots really, really briefly. I took a lot of screenshots of Redacted. I took a couple of screenshots of I can't tell you because it's a spoiler.
Is it big?
I don't know.
that doesn't sound good.
But no, I can't really talk about most of it, so maybe we'll just leave it for now.
All right.
But 4.5 out of 5 or 4 out of 5. I mean, it was 8 out of 10. I thought it was good. The pacing was fine. The fights were interesting. What was the reason for getting us into the dungeon? Was that storyline related? Yeah. Well, we'll talk about the dungeon when we get down there to that point. So, we did have Yorha Dark Apocalypse. You've done those quests and been through it. I've gone through it a couple times.
I personally, I think some of the scariest parts of this is the second picture in the patch notes. And I'm not going to say what happens right here, but when these guys, stuff started flying with the dwarves, I was like, what the fuck is happening here? These guys were exploding. There was shit happening, and it was scaring me. That was what a nice prelude to the puppets bunker.
Yeah, it was cool, and I have played enough of Yorha to know what kind of was going on. Mm-hmm. There are places you run through that I'm like, I remember this from the game,
right?
Stuff like that. So that was nice. All in all, it was okay. I didn't knock my socks off. I might like the fights better than Copied Factory. I don't know. I've only run it a couple times. There was a lot of dying,
Oh, I died a lot the first time. I ran it again yesterday with some Free Company mates, and I enjoyed it. I still think I like the first one better. As far as music goes, I like the first one better.
The first one had better music in my mind.
First one had better music, but there is a catchy little song in the third fight that it's real. It's like wild. It's like this jungle, just kind of
I have to go back and
just
play it again.
Sick your teeth into it. It's like ooh, it's catchy. And I think it's on that fight that you got the numbers on the walls and you don't know where to stand on the third or fourth one. Yeah, that one's pretty brutal. I've died a few times. Standing in the wrong spot when those laser turrets come out of the middle. But all in all, it was. To me, it was the type of fights that you can watch somebody else and pretty much wing it. I didn't have any problems.
Very recoverable. They were all very recoverable. In fact, the second time I ran through, I think we would have won most of those on one pull if people would die in return. And I'm like,
dumb.
This is a 24-man. I can come heal. I can come raise your party.
Right.
And especially the second time I ran it, I already knew how to do some of the dance. And I never read guides on these, and I absolutely don't read guides on the first day or the first week. Nah. But apparently, there's that one part where you go down the hallway of death, which I loved, by the way. I thought that was cool.
That's fun.
Except for apparently you can jump over some of those things and not take the damage, which pisses me off because I am not. If they make jumping mechanics part of fights, I'm fucked. In fact, that's been one of my I will unsubscribe moments. Right?
I don't think they would ever do
I am not coordinated enough to jump shit.
I don't think they could do that because of ping. Ping would cause you to really have an issue, and it's not required on that fight. In fact, when I saw it, I was like, oh, that's kind of a cool, exploity kind of thing. It's not really an exploit. It's just if you got a high ping and you can hit the jump button at the right time, you can jump over some shit, There were some things we used to do back in the day. Like on Dragoon, you used to do, some kind of dive or something. You could flip through some enemies on, turn 12 or something, and we would clear through so we wouldn't have to fight some enemies at some certain parts. That's kind of exploity. This, it's just good ping, but no, I would not be for having anything that required you to use jumping platforms to make it through on a time thing. This isn't Sonic the Hedgehog or Super Mario, and with ping, I don't think you can really do it.
Well, and I'm getting older. I am going to be 45 this year, and I've never had very good reactions. I know people complain about how slow this game is compared to other MMOs, especially other modern ones, but I'm like, there's a reason I'm playing a tab-targeted slower MMO is I don't have the reaction time to play anything more exciting. I can't even do some of the hard stuff in this game. I'm just not fast enough at either resolving the mechanics in my head and going to the correct place, or my ping. I don't know. I was really pissed off when we were doing whatever the other night because my dead body was always in the spot we stacked at. to soak damage or whatever. Well, why am I dead? Because the game snapshotted early or something, even though my body was in the right spot. I don't know. But anyway, I generally enjoyed this, but and the story was okay. I'm not as into it as some people are way into it. I think like you, I like the music, and the music is a lot of stuff to me. I liked the music a lot more on the first one, but maybe it was just those songs were more iconic to me from playing the game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that must be the same too, because I haven't done as many playthroughs maybe, so maybe some of the stuff is like from songs that I haven't heard. Of course, there's like the epic song at the end that's like, I don't remember the name of the main song of Final Fantasy XIV, but the one that it's melded into one of the Nier songs in the end of this one. It sounds really great, and it's super epic, and it all sounds good. But to me, that's a Soken song. That's not like a Nier song. And I'm going to be honest, I said this to Yelta earlier, I didn't care for the music in this patch as much as I cared for the music in previous patches. I adored 5.2's music. I had a lot of love for music earlier in this patch, or early in this expansion, but this one seemed to fall a little flat to me all the way around, and Nier didn't jump out at me. The first Nier one, when you're like that one super catchy tune for the boss fights, I'm singing that. I know there's no real words to a Nier song. They're made up lyrics.
No, but I still hum it or
but I'm humming it, I'm like bopping my head to it. And I just didn't catch myself as much, except for that one like gotcha, jungly kind of just crazy song that I've been having to watch like YouTube videos of the music and just go like try to kind of soak it in and really like get my teeth into it. And we'll talk about Redacted EX. I like the music from that, but that's a kind of a slow. You got to build up to a crescendo on that one too. And yeah, I don't know. All the way around, it just seemed kind of flat compared to other patches. And the Nier was no exception.
My favorite piece of music, other than Redacted EX, is probably the Beast Tribe Dailies one. I love that. I was humming it. I don't hum stuff.
No, I can hear it in my head right now. Yeah.
What did you think of the gear that came out of Your Dark Apocalypse? None of this stuff is really my style, and I'm a Lalafell.
I didn't win the coffer at the end yet. I've won the 2B coffer before, but I haven't won
There's
this
not a coffer at the end of this one, I thought.
Oh, is there not? Okay, well, then great. I didn't win anything. Then that's good. As far as like the normal gear, I've picked up one piece of... I think I picked up the healer body. Are they all the same or something?
They're real similar. I think it's like a lot of other stuff.
I picked up the healer body, and I think the next week I picked up aiming something, gloves or hat or something, because I'm trying to build up other roles. I'm not worried about my caster role, but yeah, I mean they all look like 9S kind of shit to me. I guess that's what they were going for. I don't remember what the theme was. No,
there was a button. There was something with double buttons, which maybe is 9s, but it looked really nice on Kohedi. I know she was very excited to get it. And it's all dyeable, right? Yeah, I think she dyed it.
Yes, it is dyeable.
Yeah, so not my style, but I'm not gonna complain.
No, it's not bad.
I've seen some nice combos with some Nier pieces.
Yeah, you can't go bad with like an all black kind of leather type piece. You can mix and match it. There's nothing bad about it. It's
I just want to clip that and play it all the time. You saying that right
Me
there.
saying nothing bad about black leather? Is that what you...
Yes.
You can't go bad. Can't go wrong with black leather.
I wish I had typed it out. I'd tweet it right now. But no, I thought it was okay. For a 24-man. I'm not as confused. I'm maybe not as confused as I was with all the Ravenaster stuff. But that didn't really get super confused till like the end of that one.
I think the problem with the Ravenaster stuff is that you were mixing two different Final Fantasies and trying to build a coherent story between them. Yes, they do have some relationship, but if there's any kind of timeline, it's over the course of, I guess, hundreds or thousands of years, so it doesn't really, relate. And they just tried to melt it all the same, and there's two different aesthetics. The tactics aesthetic is a very old world style. And then you've got the Final Fantasy 12 that there's a little bit of that laser beam, there's a little bit of that glowy, there's a little bit of that shining over the top, and the equipment is like it gets weird, where somebody has like a big arm patch and somebody, I don't know. It's just it was a weird mix. So I get that. Nier is just one straight story. How they've injected it into 14 is one thing, but Nier is one straight story about the androids versus the machine life forms and ...
Mm-hmm. I don't dislike it. I find it easier to understand because I was more lost, but I think I played 12 and I played a little bit of tactics, but apparently not enough to know what the fuck was going on. So this one's way easier just to kind of accept that there's machine life forms. And
my last point on Nier is I am almost ready to just watch a full ending, and somebody's going to have to just convince me, no, Ruby, no, don't spoil yourself. But like, I'm just almost ready to just watch endings B through E or whatever, just so I get it and can move past it, because I don't know what it is about Nier. It's great music. It's cool, but there's just something about it that just it's not my game. It's just really not my kind of game. Something about it just doesn't resonate with me. I don't know how you feel about Nier, Yelta. Maybe that's the way you felt about 12.
Out of it. Yeah. But I eventually uninstalled it to make room for other things. Not without, I think I was on, I don't remember what it was. I was playing 9S and I had to do a lot of hacking. Mm-hmm. Whatever that hacking is.
Yeah, that's where I'm
But I hadn't played in a while, and I had to do it, and it was like hacking after hacking, and I just kept failing them, and I'm like, fuck it. I'll go look it up on the internet. But I got an idea for some of the locations. I maybe don't have like the big story behind everything or whatever, and some people have spoiled some of that for me since then. I mean, it's an old enough game. What are you going to do? Right? I'm not going to be unspoiled. So, but yeah, I was I like that last boss.
Oh yeah, that last boss is cool.
Yeah, in fact, I'm trying to think of all the bosses.
Is that in Nier? Is that one in Nier?
There's like a giant.
I've seen the first. I've seen the phase 1. That's very early in Nier, but like I don't know if
I don't know about phase 2.
It does that last thing. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I enjoyed. I enjoyed kind of some of the fights. I think quite a bit. They don't feel quite as. Some of the fights in the first Nier are really long. Even once we all got geared up, it felt like forever. And which is weird because I'm one of the people who are like, well, I really want to be done in half an hour. I would like to, spend some time in here or whatever. But those seem to go really long. I don't know. I haven't run it in a while, so. All right, but I liked it. I'm gonna go unlock it on my alt probably this week too. I'm not running everything on my alt, but I've been trying to unlock everything. All right, the Sorrow of World. The coolest thing about this whole storyline, with the Sapphire weapon, was that town you go to.
Yes.
That was the best thing for me. I don't know why. Maybe different architecture or whatever, more lore.
The music was great. That's here I go lying again, saying the music was terrible.
I don't remember what the music was.
It was a very slow piano melody, and I don't know if it had any tones of a different area to it, but it was melancholy. It was sad. Obviously, the storyline is sad surrounding what's happening in that town.
Oh, God, yes.
But we got an image of what's to the west of Garlemald. Mm-hmm. So we're encroaching. That was part of my comment about we're coming from the west and the south and the east. Is we're starting to see the countries that are on the outskirts, and I'm hoping that this music that we heard is part of the theme of Werelert and this area that we're going to, and I hope we get to see more of it. But that was a big thing. That probably was the biggest positive. I mean, for me personally, was seeing the Legatus that they used to absorb his soul into it.
That was cool, but he was such a blip for so many people. I don't think people even knew who he was.
And I think what another problem is it becomes a blip again because we went from an EX fight to just a dipshit solo duty. So it's like, I mean, it was cool to see the text boxes. In fact, I went back and watched videos of, spoiler alert, it's Regula. And so I went back and I was like looking for videos of fighting Regula to hear the voice, because I like what, I like he says, like, can you withstand this? And, he comes at you. And it was actually kind of cool. But again, it was a solo duty, just, about that unlocked Zervan or whatever we were doing at the time. And it just didn't have the impact because Regula's kind of cool. He was friends with Varys. They were childhood friends. He was over the Sixth Legion, which is basically the Warring Triad storyline, and he was really kind of a cool Legatus that might have been one of those dudes that might have been like, you know what, Warrior of Light, you're right, I'll change that. Like, he could have had that kind of thing. Also, his ties to Unukalhai, which we're going to have something to happen to the 13th, right?
Yeah, we still haven't dealt with anything with Unukalhai, and I don't know.
There's going to be stuff. I need to go see if he's got any additional dialogue since. Maybe he doesn't, but Unukalhai, if you don't remember, is the refugee, the Warrior of Light from the 13th, which became the Void because of the the Asians' doings on that, what they were doing to the first, they did to the 13th.
They did it too fast.
Yes.
And it didn't rejoin properly, if I remember. It
did not
right.
rejoin properly, correct. So they basically wasted the 13th. Unukalhai managed to come over, and Regula and he had a relationship. They understood the Asian threat, and Regula's final words was destroy the Asians. So he really was on our side. Kind of. Maybe
he was
not.
He was at least on the non-Asian
the
side.
good Asians. He's against the bad Asians. So anyway, I did like that. And then I guess, could you call this a low point, Yelta? I don't know if you could call it a low point, but I think this might have been what you're referring to about the sweat mechanics, is Mr. Topless and the children.
Mr. Push-Ups with the children.
Yeah.
And sent the one guy to
the
punishment room.
The punishment
correction room.
The
what
correction,
was it?
Yeah, I know. The torture chamber.
Chamber.
The spanking room. I don't know what it is. When I see sweaty muscles and children and torture room or punishment room.
But he has a thing for milk.
Milk.
He was guzzling milk.
He was guzzling milk. Listen, this is who I want. This is who I want to fight. I
want to know what the fuck is up with him, and I hope he's vile. I want him to be vile, so I care.
Disgusting. I want him to just make. I want him to make me want to destroy him. Now, I had a same visceral.
And I want
feeling.
him to stay dead. By the way, please.
You don't want him what?
I want him to stay dead. Then.
Oh, yes. I was about Yelta, we read minds. Great minds think alike. Oh. I was about to say, for the previous person who gave me a visceral effect, that, when they had an issue with family and the disgusting things that they were doing behind the scenes with their family and what have you. When I have a visceral feeling about somebody and I kill them, I do want them to stay dead. And I'm going to leave it at that. I want great visceral feeling enemies that really just make me hit a certain level, but I also want a sense of closure once I dispense with them.
Well, and I'm not against having a bad guy, in quotes, that you can still kind of sympathize with, but they have to be stopped. But one that you have like the crazy person who's just crazy, or the conquering person who just wants to conquer. Those aren't as interesting to me. And then if I don't know. I wasn't. That whole thing was just like, what? The whole cutscene was just like, what am I even looking at? Oh.
Yeah.
What do you think about the fight itself? I have a very unpopular position.
Well, I died once. No, actually I died twice. I died twice because I didn't understand something the first time. I was completely...
there was something the fight... So you have a practice thing, right? Where you get to do the thing and practice. But it didn't teach me to do what... I had to learn still what specifically the fight wanted of me.
Right.
So that was frustrating. That and if I wanted to fight like this, I'd go play another game. I'm just gonna say it. I'm sorry. It's just like
Yeah,
I'm not into that.
Every once in a while, you get the forum thread that says, if I wanted to instance as Thancred, I would have done this, or if I wanted to instance as so and so, this I didn't want to play as some other.
If I wanted to be a summoner, I would have rolled summoner. Don't make me play one.
Yeah. And I always roll my eyes hard at that. I think you're getting to play. You get to play a Scion or something. Like, get over it. But this one, I kind of had a similar feeling. I was like, at least for the tutorial, they're basically like hit 1, hit 2, hit 3, and make sure you hit 4 when a big attack happens. And it was like, okay, but they don't tell you about 5, 6, 7, and 8, and that it uses your MP bar, and that you need your MP to do the other thing. And I guess that's part of the understanding.
The one said that you can't keep it up because it's draining.
Yeah, true, very true. I ended up wasting a lot of whatever the MP bar was doing a line attack, trying to destroy turrets.
Yeah.
Which was not in the tutorial, as far as I can remember, was not in the tutorial, which is not again, this is my mistake. I'm not saying complaining about that I died twice or whatever to it, but it was a little different, and I wish, again, going back to my original point about like Regula and stuff, it's like I wish they had done a little different with this instead of just making it like the duty. I guess like shirtless guy at the end was kind of worth going through some of this, but it was not my favorite solo duty fight.
Yeah, I'm not mad it was in the game. I died to it a couple times. I did not put it on easy.
No.
Or whatever. I'm like, if I can't fight this, I'm just going to unsubscribe.
Easy.
But now that I think about it, a lot of the other solo duties were very scripted and you had to do something just right. Mm-hmm. But I think for me it was thematically, it was like, this is not what I want. I did think it was kind of cute, but I was just like, eh. But as long as I don't overdo it, I think I can handle it. I just don't want this to turn into a mech fighting game. Alright, they removed the weekly restriction on the Chronicles of a New Erica quests. They're all the Crystal Tower ones, right?
Yep.
They added new custom deliveries. If you've done the Ishgard restoration stuff at all, you know who it is. I've done some of them. I have to remember to go do them this week, because I forget that you rank up in them. So did you do the custom deliveries?
Oh no, I'm so far behind on any of my crafter stuff. Like the next thing we'll talk about is kind of where I'm going to get my crafters boosted, and then I'll go back to that. I kind of got. When I first did, not necessarily custom deliveries, I'm going to talk about Ishgardian Restoration. Mm-hmm. Ishgardian Restoration, I was there for those first few fates when that first started happening, and then I saw the complaints about people not getting in. I lost interest in it, and then I've just not really been back, so I don't really care about the fates or any of that stuff going. So I don't have any ties to who this individual is that we're going to turn into. I have unlocked all the other custom deliveries up to this point. I do like custom deliveries, but I've put in crafting so far in the back burner for myself. I just haven't looked up script farming in some time.
And there are some cool and interesting side quests in the Ishgard Restoration stuff. Even if you didn't do anything else, I think you could just do all the quests there. I'm not positive, but there's quests basically about the fallout of the end of the Dragonsong War.
That's cool. I like that.
I mean, you've got widows and orphans. You've got people who were Elizans and now are not.
Yep.
And they came home. You've got curious dragonlings wondering what all the excitement is about the humans and Elizans or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's some interesting stuff. I'm not disappointed I haven't done the fate stuff as much.
No,
because I don't think there's anything there. Yeah.
And they were literally go grab something. I did them as often as I could, but they weren't deeply intriguing or anything. There are mounts and stuff and minions involved with rank or getting points or whatever. So I do have to go back and deal with that because I do need all the things. But some of that's only active during what are they? I don't remember what they even call them. It's not always the period of time that you get ranked. So even once all the Ishgard Restoration stuff is basically completed and you put a bow on it, they're going to still have to turn on that ranking, or maybe it'll always be on. I don't know. All right. They also have added Dwarf Tribe quests, and they are my spirit animal.
How cool!
Oh my God, this is so good. Because it's no spoilers, but there's 2 tribes of dwarves, and they, there's one dwarf just has a dream. It's just good, and you're building a giant tank. How can that be wrong?
It's wrong if you're a Rothgar.
Apparently, I haven't seen a picture of a Rothgar. I saw some people in it last night. I have not yet gotten the quest that lets you ride the mount, but it's my understanding that was available today or yesterday. I can't remember. I have gotten the quest. If people haven't done it yet, there's a bar because they're dwarves, and you cannot help tend to the bar unless you've done the quest for her. Yeah. So we were into deep for science mode the other night because I could do it on both of my characters, and Kohede couldn't do it on her character, and a couple of her friends couldn't do it, and Belle could do it, and we couldn't figure out what was the trigger. Why could some people do it? I'm a Lalafell, maybe it's because I'm a Lalafell, or whatever, right? No, I did it on my alt, and my alt couldn't do it at first. And then I got the quest that's for the bartender, and then I could do it. And there's even a text box that pops up and says, and now you're able to do the thing. So if you can't tend the bar, just wait. You will randomly be assigned the mission or the daily that lets you tend the bar. And what made me think about that is all the pictures of the mount I saw today. People are always like, oh, you already have the mount? And it's like, well, no, but lately, with the last few beast tribes, they've let you ride the mount around the zone to do the thing.
Right.
All right, I'm already all 80 crafters, so all of these are easy for me, but I have noticed that some of the high-quality ones are a little bit dicey on my alt.
Oh, really? I haven't really gotten to any of the high-quality ones. I quickly made a macro, and I click the macro, and it does all the low-quality stuff for me. So.
Okay. Yeah, I haven't looked up macros in a long time. I've just been crafting everything by hand. But anyway, the story is cute. The music there is, I just love it. It's banging. I don't know why. It makes me hum. It's probably it might be my favorite song in the whole patch. Of course, I'm a Lalafell, so I love dwarves.
Anything that has to do with drinking is a good time.
There's a lot of drinking. There's a lot of ethanol being produced. All right. They revamped some of Realm Reborn quests. I have not experienced this personally yet. I know myself and at least one other Free Company member has decided we're going to roll alts and maybe go to a different data center even and just see what it'd be like over there and what the main scenario quest revamping feels like. But some of the messages I've seen, they didn't really cut that much. But I don't know what that means.
I watched Mr. Happy talk about it. At least he did like maybe half or something thus far. I don't know how much he had gotten to. What he said was that no, they didn't cut as many quests. What they cut was things like pick up the thing. There was one he mentioned in particular. It had something to do with like washing some clothes or cleaning something. So you ended up
touch something.
You had to go to it was the one where like somebody gets drunk and you got to pour a bucket of water over their head at Buscarons or something. And so you ended up you had to go in the bar, get the bucket, go to the river, get the water, go back to the bar, and then go to the guy to dump the water over his head. Well, now the bucket has water in it. You don't have to go to the river.
Well, it was worse than that, because you had the bucket. You go to the river, you would put it, you'd interact with the thing, and then you'd have to, like, fill the bucket and interact again and pick up the bucket, I think. Right? So it was like,
That's
why?
terrible.
Why? Yeah. So I do still plan on doing this experiment for science, but I've just been too busy actually playing the game. But there are quests that you have to drop and re-pick up. So be realize that, and it will tell you specifically in giant red letters it's been adjusted, abandon it, and restart it. You also get tickets that will teleport you right back to the Waking Sands.
Right. Like Vesper Bay tickets or something. Yeah.
No, I think it takes you right fucking there.
Oh, right there. Wow, awesome.
Yeah, I think it takes you there. And I understand that because of lore reasons, they can't actually put a teleport crystal there. However, it's actually not that far if you go to Limsa and do the local teleport in the ferry. It's not. I actually still go to Horizon and run. I like to run through the zone.
Oh, me too. I like to see the crabs because that was the first time we saw like the 11-looking crabs. Mm-hmm. I remember going, oh, bubbly Bernie.
Yeah, I would like hop off and go do the fate if it was up. So, all right, they did change. We've already talked about this in the early pre-patch stuff, right? You have to do My Little Chocobo. You have to do the Light of Hope for one of the things. You have to do My Little Chocobo for another one. Basically, for main scenario. So, if you haven't done Operation Archon, A Time for Every Purpose, or the first flight of the Excelsior, you pretty much just have to go get your Chocobo, which they've made completely easy now. Oh, and we talked about this a little bit already. Mounts can now fly in a Realm Reborn areas,
yes.
And while I think our ultimate too long didn't read was the skybox is a little low, but still better than I expected.
Right. It's not consistent across all zones. It's kind of depending on like what zone you're in and things. And you get to the Shroud and some of those areas where it's like you're going between like some of the, like if you're flying from like Quarry Mill to all the way down South Shroud, there's some kind of tight spots. But it's not like so claustrophobic you don't know where you're going because you realize you're not in an area that you're supposed to be at. Mm-hmm. You're just kind of cutting across. Is it? So, and there are a couple of like, I wouldn't call them Easter eggs, but there's some little spots that you can land and do some things. You're like, oh, I couldn't land here before. And I noticed, there's some spots in Gridania that we were looking at that you could land on top of some towers. We were looking at for some screenshots in East Shroud. I noticed in Limsa, and I don't remember quite what zone it was, but there was a spot where there's these four little spots out in the water, and you can land on top of these little spots way out in the water. So it's pretty neat. I mean, what could I do?
Some spots were so beautiful, is one of the things I noticed.
Yeah.
There were some spots that were like, oh my god, I can see. I mean, already the Realm Reborn zones were, what would we say? We'd always said they're kind of small, but packed with cool stuff.
Yeah, I think that
just kind of doubled down on that.
Yeah, that was the mentality, right? Like we came out of 1.0 that were just vast zones with nothing in it, and then they wanted to make smaller zones that were cramped. Sometimes I think some of those Limsa zones are a little too big. But
well, yeah. But no, I found so many cool things to look at, and you could get quite close to, like, I could see the Labyrinth of the Ancients was actually under the Crystal Tower. I spent a lot of time flying around Mordona, but there was, like, some cool stuff I could see. And like I said earlier, it actually might have made the sightseeing log a little easier in that I can get back up to and try again faster maybe by hopping on my Chocobo, but they have not, like, nerfed the sightseeing log into oblivion. I still need to finish it. But it's jumping and time and knowing what emote to use, and sometimes weather, I think, too. So yeah, it's
right.
I actually use a third-party site for that. I don't remember what it is right now, but yeah, I do use a third-party sightseeing log helper, Tillian.net sslog, tylian.net/sslog/. Yeah, that one's really nice. You can, like, tell it which ones you finished, and you can hide the inactive ones. So anyone that's not currently up, you can hide all the ones you've already done. It's pretty good. Oh my god. There's like 11 of them right now that are up that I don't have.
Yeah.
BRB. No. But no, I really liked what they did. I think they did really, really well putting flying into zones that were not configured for them. All right, let's see. The quest, I Believe I Can Fly, has been removed. And you basically just have to do the ultimate weapon and you can fly. So that's cool. Quest icons, yeah, they all have elevation now. Maps have elevation. The quest positions have elevations now. They added stuff to New Game Plus, which I still haven't done any New Game Plus. They've added a bunch of tank classes and healer classes and hand and land quests, class quests. Oh, let's see. You can now initiate and abandon a Leve while riding a mount. This actually was one of my problems in the game.
Oh, yeah, that was terrible. I'm glad they fixed this.
I like that. Yeah. Yeah, I like being able to, like, on my way there, I'll hit the button that opens my log, and I'll click do it, and it's like, oh no, you have to dismount first. They added rewards to Zoner skin maps. Still haven't seen it. I still haven't done a map party since the patch dropped. I have lots of maps, though. So they've added new rewards to the Dungeons of Liga, and your item levels sync to 505. Grand and free companies, they've given us some new craftable items. Grand and free companies, they've given us some new craftable items to the company workshop. They've added some new stuff to subaquatic voyages. You can do more stuff. I don't know.
Didn't we find there were some new things? Maybe it was in our free company chat. There were some new things that I saw being discussed. Maybe it was like a new mount, or I don't remember what it was, but it had some excitement. Somebody was excited in our free company chat about some new things.
Well, and recently I was talking about how there are some people who don't realize, like, the zoom mount came from airships. And some other stuff didn't come, that they didn't even know existed. And I'm like, oh, we can get those. But yeah, there might be some new stuff that comes from subaquatic voyages that, I don't know. I know Belle was going to clean out the company chest. So, grand companies will now sell you pudding flesh. I don't know why. Maybe they don't drop enough.
Didn't they take out a bunch of items from some of the low-level dungeons? I feel like there were some crafting items.
They took a lot of junk out of treasure chests, but I don't think any of the... I don't remember. Pudding flesh is something I used to go farm, I thought. But whatever. There's apparently not enough. They added a whole bunch of stuff to housing from the Final Fantasy XIV Furnishing Design Contest. They're all very cute.
Oh, I love it. These are all beautiful.
Yeah. I know somebody did that big wall that's like a couch. It's like a... I don't know what you'd call it.
No, I don't know what that is either.
Somebody placed it in their house and they were like, meh. Added some furnishings. This all looks like copied factory stuff. It's all rusty and chain linky. I don't know what's new here. Is it the tree and the long bench?
I think it's the long bench. I think we talked about this maybe like in the preview. We saw that. Some of this is some pretty cool stuff for the yard. I just wish they would expand us like 10 spots for the yard, up it to 30. I think it'd be great.
Yeah, that and split us off into instant servers so we could have way more stuff. Viera and Othgar mannequins are now available. You just can't put hats on them, but they're available. But yeah, Viera and Hrothgar mannequins. Cool. They added more orchestrion rolls. Yay. They've added new aquarium fish. They've added new seeds for the flower pots. They've added a new seed for gardening and flower pots. Gardening, I've already seen the fruits of this labor. Mm-hmm. It is an Allegan melon seed. It's a minion. It's kind of weird.
Mm-hmm. It rolls. It chases you.
Which I like that part. I don't like the part where it breaks apart and then snaps back together. I don't know.
It's kind of weird.
I don't know. It's kind of weird to me.
I don't know. This Allegan melon. I don't know if you saw. And you're a fisher. You've done some fishing. Mm-hmm. I guess this is a fish, but I saw this on Twitter today. It was some kind of experimental something that's in Oz's Law or something or another. And it's a type of fish, and it was something like Experiment 1, 2, 3, and it said it had something to do with like Lalafell, like it looks something like a Lalafell or whatever, and then there's Experiment like 999 or 666 or something, and it's and it says like it's growing Lalafell in hands, and then it's like this Allegan slime, a goo that's growing into a Lalafell or something. Yeah, it's just a really weird text that is on this fish or item, and it's something like aetherochemical something number 666. But anyway, it's like these Allegans have the craziest shit. They're growing Lalafells out of goo. They've got watermelons that open and close again. Allergens are nuts.
That's weird. I don't know what that is. That's wow. Okay.
Yeah, it's a little haunting.
All right, they added stuff to the Manderville Gold Saucer. You will be matched for chocobo races after a fixed period of time. It won't be displayed. The time won't be displayed anymore. That's good because honestly, if no one matches right away anyway, you just get thrown in with NPCs. So they changed Triple Triad. Oh, they added more cards.
Yeah.
And more NPC opponents.
But they didn't change the cards.
They didn't change the goddamn packs, did they?
That's right. Nope, don't see
We've
that.
only been bitching about that for 3 fucking years.
Longer.
I don't know anything about this, but they changed in Domain Mahjong. An explanation of the POW penalty will now display when triggered. Somebody says that's like a kind of weird edge case or something. I don't know. It's apparently kind of obscure, but all right. And they changed the position of the cursor when selecting tiles with a gamepad. It has been adjusted. Miscellaneous Fox Hollows has been added. So you can relive harrowing battles of your past in Unreal battles. And there's this very odd-looking fox that, tells you to go fight Shiva again. Basically.
It tells you to go fuck yourself when you stare at him. That's basically
Well, it kind of does tell you to go fuck yourself when you stare at him. But you did Shiva. What did you think?
Well, all the new Shiva mechanics and all the
all
new
of them.
cool
They were
stuff.
deep and interesting.
Deep and interesting. I got hit by that arrow
figuring out.
one time that embarrassed me to know that, I've been doing this since 2.4 and I still got blasted by that
Tank
fucking
probably
arrow.
didn't turn her around.
Yeah, bullshit. It's Ruby. Ruby had his head up his ass. No, it's fun. It's Shiva. I mean, if you know how to do Shiva, you know how to do this, unless, you're with a group of people who don't know how to do Shiva.
If you know how to do Shiva when she came out.
Right.
Shiva, if you remember, do you remember when Shiva came out, me, and a lot of the Final Fantasy XIV population was like, after the other EXs, she's kind of easy.
She was much easier than Ramu with the ads, because the ads really fucked people up in Ramu, and it was all the tether the tether mechanics really just messed people up. And then prior to that was what, Titan? So I mean, like, there was a lot of shit coming at us, from or Leviathan, maybe. It was Leviathan right before that. Mm-hmm. So, and that was people falling off. And I remember, I can't see the wave on the side. We had people who couldn't even see the mechanic.
They literally couldn't see the wave, I guess.
So Shiva, yes, was a breath of fresh air after that. And Shiva was one that we really sunk our teeth into as a free company, and all of our friends were doing it. So, we knew what we were doing. I don't know that the kids all know what they're doing, Yelta. I mean, you have a story.
Do you want my story?
I mean, you're welcome to tell your
story. The story where I fucking rage quit at a party? Is that the story you're speaking of?
I think that's the story, yeah.
Oh my god. So I did, if you don't know the mechanic, you do the weekly Unreal. You go to Mr. Fox, and you fill out his weird game board, and you can get a retelling, because apparently he's friends with Chloe, and it's all about stories. So, which means that you now have an opportunity to go do the fight again and get rewards again. But you can only do that once a week. So I'd already done the fight twice on my main. I'd already cleared it again on my alt, which has plenty of gear, because this is eye level synced so low. I think it's going to be really, really good content to do with a lot of people and on their alts. But anyway, so I've already done this fight and cleared it 3 times, right? I knew this fight back in the day when it came out. But I've joined this party. I think it was a clear party. I can't recall perhaps 100% because I had already joined many parties that day. But whatever it was, I went in there and I kept my mouth shut through multiple polls. And I let the party leader call the shots. I let other people call the shots. And for one, they just had the most bizarre, confusing strategy. Which I kept my mouth shut for, because for the most part we were doing okay. Right? We were going to clear this in 45 minutes. I know I'm more patient than some people, but I'm like, we're going to clear this, before the timer runs out, so whatever. Until it came to the bow phase. So the bow phase, she shoots arrows, which murder Ruby, and me when I'm not paying attention. But, so immediately after her shooting everybody in it's not a 180. It's quite a bit, though. She then marks one person with a blue dot that you mentioned earlier is hard to see if you don't turn your effects down. And the PF strat back in the day, and the PF strat for all the times I had been trying to clear and had cleared in this patch was when bow phase comes out, get behind her. So you always have to, there's a lot of touching her butt, right? That's how people remember. Bow phase comes out, you touch her butt. And then the tank generally drags her to the edge, and everybody still stays on her butt, or goes in front of her. And then you have two choices then. Either the person who gets the marker just stands back on her butt, and you can use knockback mitigation. It's tight, but you can do it. You have to do it early. Or basically, everyone stacks on her butt, and then once the marker comes out, everybody that doesn't have it moves. This is not fucking rocket science, right? It's basically, I have the blue marker. You want to make sure that if you're, knockback mitigation doesn't work, you can still get pushed halfway across and not, hit the wall. But we failed that mechanic like 3 times, and then I said, okay, I finally spoke up. I'm like, most people in Party Finder, or no, I said what, before I said that, I'm like, so when that happens, drag her to the edge, tank drag her to the edge, stack on her butt, and if you don't have the marker, move. Well, the party leader lost his shit. He's like, why should everybody have to move for the one person who has the marker? And I'm like, okay, what do you suggest? He suggested the person with the marker go to the west and everyone else go to the east. And I'm like, people still have to move then. You're now making everybody move. In fact, back when I learned it in whatever the fuck patch it was, the strat was pull her to the edge, everyone fan out against the edge, whoever has the marker touches their butt. So that's really like the least, one person has to move. So anyway, we tried it his way twice, and it was a wipe both times. And then I'm like, why don't we just try it this way? That's what Party Finder seems to be doing. And the guy was like, is this your PF? And I said, no, it's not. And I just left. And I'm like, I kept my mouth shut through so much stupid strategies. And honestly, I'm always willing to listen to strategies. I might learn something. I do often learn something because for one thing, I don't watch a lot of guides. I generally just go with the flow of either our free company learning a fight and clearing it, and what works for me. But when you go into PF, you have to kind of just whatever the Party Finder's doing, you do it. But they just were not having any of my suggestion. I didn't demand. I didn't anything. I was just like, I don't remember if I even said this was my retelling, but it's like, I didn't even need this shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not even willing to try my way.
I have no comment for any of that. I mean, if people are unwilling to try something, and you had told me earlier that you probably didn't incur any kind of penalty because it was a pre-made. But to me, their penalty is if they stayed in there and kept trying this guy's stupid method of doing it, then they suffered the penalty by sticking around, and you didn't. So, but that's very frustrating. I mean, especially being a vet, knowing the stuff, and having people who are not willing to try something new, and just continuing to wipe and not do anything. And I've been in parties like that, and it's frustrating that people won't listen to a different point of view, especially if you're not demanding anything.
Yeah, and I didn't leave because basically his strat was the same as a lot of them, just everybody who doesn't have the marker be in this one spot. But it was the fact that he wouldn't even try, and then got sassy with me. I'm like, no. That and the timing for mitigating that knockback is pretty early. I've watched many people fly into the wall if the tank doesn't have it at least a little bit north. So, I don't know. The safest way to do it is, honestly, pull her a bit to the edge. Everyone go a little bit towards the edge, and then touch your butt if you have it. But they were having none of it. So, I don't know. And I tried it their way many times. But anyway, let's talk a bit about Unreal Trials itself. This is content that's going to be cycling with every major patch, I think. I think is what they said. So right now we have Shiva Unreal. And it's my understanding Shiva Unreal will go away and it will cycle to a different Unreal fight. Which freaked me the fuck out at first. I'm like, because they showed like a mount. And definitely a Shiva mount, right? I'm like, well, what happens if I get bad luck on drop? I still don't have my Ruby mount, and I've done it 170 times. So, wow. I was worried. I was concerned. And there's no, in the earlier patch notes, I'm like, I don't know if there's a token or whatever. But anyway, basically, unlock the quest, you go do the fight, you come back, and there's this Fox Hollows game board, which was I won't speak for you, but I was confused at first about what to do on this game board, how to best pick my, I don't know.
Yeah, I had to ask you guys what to do. You know, you kind of had some offers to go to a certain website so you could kind of see and help predict what you're doing.
Yeah, there's some solvers.
Yeah, I had some apprehension first too, even though I knew what it was going to be. But then when I saw it, and it's just basically, you know, a game show. It's, you know, you're just kind of picking the spots, and it seems hard to lose for the most part. You should be able to walk away with, like, you know, at least 5, maybe 10. You know, most times I think it'd be easy to get a retelling because it's easy to see the position of the swords. And so, you know, it gives everybody an opportunity to do it a couple of times and try to rack as much stuff as possible. And I think it's great. I thought it was a fun little deal. Now we discovered something that made it a little less great. And that was that.
Well,
go ahead.
Well, before that, my fear was absolved by the fact that you do this game board and you do get currency. And the currency at the shop are what you use to buy stuff. So I'm assuming all of the Unreal Trials are going to give all the same currency.
Yeah.
And then I'm assuming once something's put in the shop, it stays there. That's my assumption. So even if I don't get 600, whatever the currency's called, by the time the next one comes out, I still can get the Shiva unicorn, whatever the fuck it's called. But we mathed it out the other night, and this is not something you do in 2 or 3 weeks. Even if you get perfect, if you always get a retelling, and then you always get the Commander 1 square one, that's only 105 a week. And it's 600 for the mount. And there's other stuff too. There's like glamour gear and stuff. Okay, but let's move on again to what we found out that upset us greatly.
Right, which is that's not the only way to get the mount. You can get it through Zloe's stuff too, or Chloe, whatever her name is. You can get through the book if you get all, you know,
the Wondrous Tales.
The Wondrous Tales. If you get 33 lines, you can get it there. So, kind of takes away.
Okay, so but that's not even the part that's super. That one made me go, what?
Oh yeah.
3 line is super fucking rare.
Oh yeah.
Right. I've never had 3 lines. Most people I know maybe saw 3 lines once. So that gold certificate is rare. You can also get it. I would have been happy if they didn't add stuff to Zloe's purchasables for like a whole patch. The fact that it's available in 2 places is just like, wow, that seems like killing your content.
Right.
And then I found out that the prizes are not unique and untradeable. So you can go buy it off the market board. People were buying them for $25 million on the first week. And I'm like, I could go buy it, but talk about fucking murdering your content.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, somebody has to go farm it up, or somebody has to get super lucky in Wondrous Tales. But I really wish they would have left it only in the Fox Hollows store.
For at least a patch.
At least for one for full patch. I could see, this game's always about making it easier and making more stuff more accessible as time goes on, and I would have had no problems if that mount was only in Fox Hollows, and then in the next major patch, it was also in 3-line Wondrous Tales. And honestly, the major patch after that, sure, put it in the 2-line one. Let it be rare for a little while. I mean, it's still rare, but it bothers me so much that you can buy it with Gil. That there's 2 ways of getting it with never fighting Shiva.
Right.
Yeah. No, I think that was a mistake, but I'm still probably going to do it. There's people who are like, they don't even like, we got people in the free company are like, I don't like that they did it that way. So it's not even bragging rights that I did the content. On top of which, it's not an amazing looking mount. I haven't seen it in real life, or quote real life. I haven't seen it for real in game, but it's a reskinned unicorn in Shiva colors. I don't know. I have to have it because I have to have all the things. But that's not going to make a lot of people suffer through Unreal. I say suffer. For me, it was fun other than, 2 parties. But
right.
I don't know. The free company has done a lot of talking about, running this, once a week, 2 times in a night. It's real easy to get a retelling. All the cards I've seen, there's only, 3 spots that can even hold the 6 squares.
Right,
that make up the swords. So basically, you can burn...
And you get 11
and
goes.
Still get it. Yeah. You get a lot of goes. Oh, I have heard a warning, though. Do your goes. Do not queue up until you all are done with your goes. Because you, lose something. Yeah, it sounds like it doesn't... Yeah. So people get used to using your ready checks and waiting for people to actually be ready before queuing up. I don't know. I do like the content. I really love the feeling of fighting some of these fights. The way that somebody asked me how did it feel, and I'm like, I feel like how it felt the day it came out. It's the eye level sink you so brutally, honestly, that you have to see all the mechanics. We had newer free company members that are like, I didn't even know these mechanics existed.
Oh yeah, because you see them in other fights, but they're dumbed down. They take these pure mechanics and dumb them down and mix them in with other stuff from other fights, and so you think you've seen them before, but you really haven't. And you're right. When they up the ante on this, you can't stand in 2 puddles and just just go with it unless you're a tank or something meaty. You're going to take the hit. You gotta go to the right spot. You got to go stand in the right area. You got to call out who's going in and who's going out. That was the stuff. But we put up the markers, and I was like, "What is this for again?" I had to remember we were moving clockwise and all that stuff. It comes back to you if you've done it before, but if you've never done it, I can see it
even
be
a tank
difficult.
that had the mechanics explained was like they didn't understand why they couldn't just pull their tank privilege card. They're like, "Why did I die?" And the other tank was like, "You're in the wrong place. You're gonna die. You didn't do the mechanic correctly, so bye-bye." All right, they also made some other changes to Wondrous Tales. You will now receive experience points in addition to your rewards against, after getting 9 seals. Disciples Warn Magic, excluding limited jobs. You cannot receive Wondrous Tales obtained private... Oh, so if you have an old Wondrous Tales in your backlog. They've added stuff to Wondrous... stuff that was previously in Wondrous Tales to the bronze, gold, and silver certificates. That's fine with me. Players who have not reached level 80 with a Disciple of War or Magic may only choose 2 rewards rather than 3. Is that the trade-off for the XP?
I guess.
Yeah, I don't know. Oh, let's see. They've changed some...
This next one got me. The following additions and adjustments have been made to the challenge log. The entry successfully desynthesized 5 items has been added, and the entry successfully affixed 5 materia has been removed. I was just desynthing like crazy, and I was on a main job, and I've been trying to level some other jobs, and then I missed the experience, and it's a good chunk. It was like a mil plus or something on whatever job I was on. So
challenge log stuff is not to be dismissed.
Yeah, but I didn't know this was on there yet. I hadn't paid attention, and I'm just desynthing, and then it goes boop. You get experience. Oh shit! Wasn't paying attention because there's all these menus, and I was using the desynth menu, and I was using. I think we talked a little bit personally about one of the menus for pulling out your materia when you do the materia extractions.
Right.
using that instead of hurting your wrist and right-clicking your gear, to extract individually. You pull it all up in the menu. So this was one of those changes that caught me by surprise.
I think that's awesome. I think it's good. A good chunk and it's once a week, so it's fun. It kind of gets people one more reason to do the challenge log. I've been preaching the challenge logs. I've been preaching Beast Tribe dailies. I've been preaching weekly, custom deliveries, or daily and weekly doing your gold saucer stuff. I'm like, go start it if you're new. Go start it. And I know it sounds like a lot, but a lot of these things can be done in 5 or 10 minutes each. Beast Tribe dailies. I did 2 sets of Beast Tribe dailies in under 6 minutes. I mean, you might need a checklist, but a lot of this stuff is not straining or strenuous or whatever. So, but then again, if you don't care about min-maxing your weekly stuff, then don't. But if you're like, why don't I have any MGP? And I'm like, are you doing your daily this and your weekly that? All right, they added new emotes. This first one, if you've done the dwarf quests, you've seen this now. Mm-hmm. There is an NPC who does it, and it's adorable, and I can't wait to get it.
It's the Russian dance.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right. I'm not going over all of these because we're at an hour and 46 minutes, but they made some adjustments. I've heard that I think the warriors are happy.
Oh, yes, because of the Soulstorm's Eye getting their HP back, that kind of thing. That's my understanding. Warriors
the durations are higher now.
Extremely happy with this change.
Let's see, Gunbreaker, that one's a buff. I keep reading R.I.P. Monk, but I don't understand why.
I haven't heard from the monks about this change. Monk's going to have a full a rehaul. I think Monk is getting a 5.4 or something overhaul. So this is a Band-Aid.
Bard got honestly some pretty minor buffs: 300 to 350. 330 to 340, 230 to 240.
Yeah, I've heard...
Machinist... Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, I've heard less complaints than I have people happy with the changes. Yeah, Machinist change here?
The only thing with the Machinist change was, people were like, oh, I don't think I was using Hypercharge. People are also typing today in Novice Network, RIP Summoner.
No.
This is not RIP Summoner, right? This
is
Tri-Disasters and half.
Apparently people can't read. Tri-Disaster is just the initial damage that goes out. That's not the dots being reduced. That's just the initial damage. So that's the, 3 times in the whole overview of your rotation? Because you have to hardcast dots 1 time after Bahamut. So no, this isn't Rip Summoner. This is trying to rein Summoner back in, but Summoner's still extremely powerful. Again, you may listen to us, but I watched Mr. Happy's breakdown of his patch note stuff, and people are in the know aren't RIP and Summoner. They're still going Summoner's too god dang strong.
Yeah, and that's the majority I've seen was Summoner still too fucking strong. I also saw people were like, I'm going back to Black Mage.
Enjoy that.
I'm like, okay. What? Don't get me wrong. Play what you want. I don't know. Maybe these people were talked into being Summoner for the raid groups or something.
I mean, let's be honest. Black Mage should do more damage than Summoner because Black Mage has limited mobility as compared to Summoner. I know there have been some changes. It's a little easier on Black Mage to move around, and so whatever. Summoner's been dumbed down a little bit, but whatever.
I think the difference is, and it's been the same since day 1 of Black Mage. A Black Mage who knows the fight will probably outdamage a Summoner. A Black Mage that doesn't know the fight is gonna do really subpar damage, right?
Right.
If you know where to move and pre-cat, it's I don't know.
Yeah, people have broken the Black Mage ceiling on not using it for prog because I think wasn't there a previous tier that somebody progged using Black Mage and they were world first with Black Mage in the party. So I mean, all those kind of stereotypical things, you can't use Black Mage for prog is gone. But you got to be a good Black Mage. You can't just be average Joe Black Mage and be world first and take it in for prog. You got to know how to do your movements correctly. It's just easier for somebody who's wearing a helmet and drooling to do the I'll edit that out. It's easier for somebody who doesn't know how to play the job to do a summoner than it would be for them to do a black mage and do a high level of damage.
Yeah. All right, Scholar got a MP reduction on Sucker. The real winner, I understand, is Astrologian. I've heard from Free Company members, it's simpler to play and there are no MP problems anymore.
That's good.
I don't know if that's true, but they've like nerfed MP costs on a lot of stuff. They've added MP restoration on like sleeve draw. It's my understanding it's a lot easier. All right. Oh, okay. This one's actually important. The period of an invulnerability after being revived will now be indicated.
Oh my gosh, yes.
That. Do you know how many? Even right before the patch, before the patch, I had to yell at people in Ruby EX who died, were raised, and instantly sprinted somewhere when they didn't have to move. I'm like, use your invulnerability.
You can move, just don't sprint. Don't use any abilities.
But they were already doing stuff,
right.
And I'm like, if it's already gotten dicey, and the healers are raising people, we would love to hit you with a juicy cure upon your raise, but we may have to do something. Just stand there, because you were invulnerable for quite a bit in a fight. It's now on your bar. It shows up.
Right.
So, all right. I don't care about this. The Hero's Gauntlet briefly is the new dungeon.
Mm-hmm.
I was trying to figure out how they were going to do. Here's a tour of all of the first,
but it's not.
They pulled it off, and it's not. You're right. It's not.
Yeah. They did pull it off, and it's a cool dungeon. I have no problems with it, other than I've only done it one time, because I can't seem to get it to pop again. But yeah, it's only like 3 of the 6 zones. It's not really like all of it. I mean, it's cool how they made it work, but yeah, it's kind of a false
It feels like a
advertisement.
victory lap, but it's not. It's not really a tour. I was, honest to God, Ruby, I was hoping for a boss rush.
Oh yeah, that'd been
sweet. I was hoping for a dungeon that was like a boss rush or something.
But you got a soulless
the
loot
last
tunnel
boss,
instead.
You did get, yeah, we did. The last boss murdered people. In fact, I was very quiet whenever I was in someone who I was knew was new. That boss will kill you, because there's some mechanics that I don't know if we've done too many times before. But
oh yeah, I know what you're talking about, and I've seen it. If you've done previous raid stuff, you've seen a lot of those mechanics.
Did I tell the world that somebody spoiled it for me upon walking up to the first boss or the last boss? And I'm like, seriously? I woke up when the patch. It wasn't even time for the patch to be out. The servers weren't even supposed to be up yet. They brought them up. I did 1 cycle of Beast Tribe dailies, and I instantly hit the storyline, and I'm already getting spoilers on the first dungeon a few hours into the first day. And I'm like, seriously? Yeah,
people have no chill. And not to get spoilery, since we're talking about spoilers, what did you think about the bosses? Obviously, like the enemies that you fight throughout, and it's a cool. There's some cool ways that they do this stuff, but the enemies that you fight,
there's like some interesting lore
throughout. Have we've seen this type of thing before, but there's 3 bosses, and I guess we can skirt around. Each boss has a different job,
and even at the bosses, right? A lot of the normal mobs have different job names, right? Everybody's just falling all over themselves trying to figure out which of those is the next 2 or 3 14 jobs.
Well, the answer is probably it's not.
That's
not. The answer. He gave it to us. It's these 3 that you're seeing right here. It's not. I mean, we've heard it all before from different worlds and from different eras, different job. A black mage may be a magus in the third astral era. A warrior might be a Viking or something. I'm making some of that shit up, but I'm using the jobs from previous Final Fantasies, and we've seen maguses and Vikings, like at the puppets.
Well, I can't remember what conjurers. They're called conjurers or something else. Yeah.
So, so we've seen some of these before, but the three bosses have familiar names, except for that last one, which I think was a Easter egg or a little what's up to the forums, because it was probably the number one job I see people speculating that could be a healer type job on the forums. And I'm going, okay, I mean, maybe. And then there was some other type, like little mini spoilers, like and I wouldn't call them, I guess, spoilers, but mini like job hints where an NPC says like, I want to be this when I grow up.
Yep.
And it's a type of job that is, again, one of those top three, I want to see this as a healer.
Would be maybe a healer. Yeah. If they don't give us a healer, I'm going to riot.
It will be a healer. But will it be redacted last boss's name or redacted what this little girl wants to be when she grows up and becomes an adventurer? It may not be either one of those.
Yeah. Honestly, I would be really surprised. If they're going to give us any hints, I think they'll do. I'm wondering if they'll do it in the Rising again. Right?
That'd be cool.
Remember when they were red or blue? What should I do first? Anyway, I enjoyed the dungeon. It was pretty. It felt like a victory lap dungeon. I don't even remember the music one way or the other, but no, I do. I think there was
it was good.
It
was all three. It was
good.
It was those three zone themes mixed together, right. And there were some good chunks. And there was a chunk of it that sounds like, I think it must be the Amarang chunk of it. Sounds like Gerudo Valley from Zelda Ocarina of Time. It's real catchy. That's a good song. See, here I go backpedaling about me saying the music's not good. There were some good parts, but the whole song throughout.
None of it blew your pants off.
Right, exactly.
I mean, yeah. The gear from the dungeon's nice. There's some pictures of that. I don't know if I'd use it, but it was different. People were sad it wasn't dyeable, and I'm like, I bet money we get dyeable versions down the line. All right, they're adding experience point bonuses for dungeons the first time, but not for level 50, 60, 70, or 80 level cap dungeons. I was very sad about this next one. Coin Counter is going to now have action indicators, and I'm like, bitches. I want them to take the kid gloves off, not nerf the old content.
I mean, I guess I get, but it's the end of an era. It's one of those, again, like nerfing Aurum Vale. That's like one of those, like, you got to take somebody into Aurum Vale one time for them to get that good Aurum Vale experience. So, we experienced Coin Counter without any markers. You just had to know how to move. I know there are other fights that do that. And so maybe it's kind of unfair to have the very first time.
Maybe the logic was, you haven't seen this before. Here you go.
Right.
So I would accept it on that basis, but I'm like, oh man, some of my joy in life was watching noobs get pulverized by that.
A good swipe and a glower just to destroy you. It's can't beat it.
All right, there's a billion scrolls left on these notes. So we're just going to, too long didn't read a couple of them, I think. They've taken a lot of junk out of treasure coffers, and it's a lot of junk. The next one, they've added full sets of gear to a lot of these early dungeons. Sastasha, Copperbell, Totorak, Brayflox, Cutter's Cry, Zamal, Temptera, Halatali, Hawk Manor, Sunken, Temple of Karn, Stone Vigil, and Aurum Vale. And you're going to for sure get something when you leave. They went and made that change that they did. Was that Stormblood? They added that where you will always get a reward for your class. They added that. I love that change. I'm just going to say.
No, I think it's great. That people should be getting gear and know that they need to increase their eye level as they go.
Mm-hmm. And you don't have to shell out for it, right? On the way to 50, you shouldn't have to shell out too much gil. So I don't mind that they did that. All right, they added a trial. It's redacted. It's hidden.
Redacted.
I loved the looks of it. I love the storyline version of it. They did the thing I was ranting about. Put the cutscene, put the other weird phases, whatever, in the non-farmable one.
So you're saying the normal one has all the weird cutscenes?
Not weird, but awesome cutscenes.
Yeah.
The normal one has the
I know. I know.
Yeah, but the extreme, you just kill him.
Okay, so you don't like that?
No, I love it.
Oh yeah, I do.
The one,
okay, good.
Yeah,
good,
the
good.
one that you farm. Yeah. The one that you farm. I always thought should be. I don't even mind if it's 2 phases, but don't give me a long ass.
Yeah,
cutscene.
look, okay, story is story. If I wanted to get hit in the face with Byaku's balls, I'll play the story. But I think in an EX, they should have left that out. But they didn't.
Yes.
They slapped me in the face with balls. So we have to put up with that. But I am with you.
You only want to be slapped with consensual balls.
Exactly.
Is that what you're telling me?
Yes, and I also want to be able to jump them if I have high enough ping.
Oh my god.
But I agree with you. I was worried that you were saying the opposite, that you wanted to see.
No. I'm actually no. Well, and I don't even mind if like the EX has a 2 phase, but don't give me a cutscene in it that wrecks my monk stacks or whatever. I don't know. But the normal I enjoyed thoroughly, story wise, and the extreme. We did this blind. And it took us like 3 nights to clear it, or 2 nights. I can't remember now. I was so salty though by the time we were done. I still don't know if it was the fight or if it was me in a bad mood. So I need to go back in. There's a lot of mechanics, but there are a lot of mechanics we've seen before, and a lot of them that make sense. But there's a lot. Somebody showed a macro of how some servers are assigning spots for different phases, and Jesus fucking Christ. I may just try to farm this one with a free company.
Mm-hmm. I need that carry, Yelta. Bring me.
Oh, you haven't cleared it yet?
No, I ain't even walked into it. I've done the normal, of course, but I haven't done the extra.
Well, yeah, the extreme is the first phase. You don't see cutscene or... I don't remember now. I only did the normal one time. All right, let me scroll down. They've upped the Shadow Gorber Trumpet in Hades. Drop rate, yay. Eden versus drops restrictions haven't. This is all normal stuff. You won't get another Blade of Golden Antiquity though by doing it more than once a week. But instead of 7, you now need 4. Talking about the Puppets Bunker again. I think we're into all the normal stuff. You can now get upgrade items from. The 2 coins from the 2 24-man.
Yeah, make sure you're doing that every week, doing your 2 24-man raids and getting your twine or your juice, whatever it is, to get your accessories up and start working on your body and accessories. We don't have the weapon unlock yet, but you know we should be having that relic before too long. So save up.
Hunts also give you. I had enough stuff to buy twine or whatever to upgrade my body from hunts. Oh, let's see. This is all normal stuff. They added some PvP stuff. I haven't stepped foot in there, so I don't even want to talk about it.
No, and I don't remember what... Oh, maybe it was
will.
Mr. Happy's stream. He was like, there are so many PvP changes, and he, I guess, was getting people asking, like, what does this mean? What does this mean? And he's, I'd say, no, Reed, that's PvP. That's not the PvE stuff, so don't worry about the PvP stuff so much. But I haven't heard any comments about the PvP just yet, so... I'll have to kind of wait and see, or join some front lines and kind of see how this goes.
Wow, they removed a ton of recipes. It's wolf stuff, so it must have been the PvP stuff. Interesting.
Oh yeah, those PvP recipes got just gutted. Mm-hmm.
So 480 gear can be now upgraded to 490. I don't know where it is in the patch notes, but now when you're buying the 50, 60, and 70 cap gear, with Poetics, you'll just get the upgraded version now too. And they added Sundry Splendors. Basically, stuff you used to go to Mordona to buy, you can now buy in Limsa, Gridania, Olda, Ishgard, and Kugane. Yeah. And the menu's got some nice drop-downs and whatever. People are mad that not everything's in there, and I'm like, well, I don't think they were meaning to. It's only for stuff for Poetics. Yeah. All right. I don't know. Oh, now if you're working on the old A Realm Reborn relics, you don't get those vintage items. Is that the vintage? Is that the stuff?
Yeah.
You don't get those from drops in dungeons anymore.
Correct.
You now just go to those 2. There's Memoruin or the Junk Monger in Upper Lancia.
Right, yeah, those are those weird drops, like the axe heads and some of those things that you'd get from, like, Wanderer's Palace.
I just farmed a whole bunch of those for Vaikuko. She wanted to work on relics, and I'm like, let's go get them. They added crafting material shops to Idle Shower, Miracle's Reach, and Steps of Thal. It's just crafting. They've added a lot of items that are pretty easy to get to a lot of shops.
This next one got me too. The sort function. The sort function has been adjusted. Items with a similar function will now be arranged together when sorted. I had a retainer that was all crafting mats and materia, nothing else. And some of the old crafting mats... No, I lie. There were some old 1.0 items on it, but I think some of those were crafting mats. And I had... When I would sort, it was sticking the materia right in the middle. Now, when I did a sort, and I was like, "What the hell happened?" All the materia are at the. I think they're at the. Maybe they're at the beginning, and the crafting mats are at the end. So right when I click on my retainer, it's just all materia right then. And what a great change! So I haven't looked and see how this affected any of the other retainers or the other gear, but that in that particular instance, it used to all be just crafting materials and then materia, and I'd have to go to page 3 and 4 to because they would hang over. You know, like I'd have some on page 2 and some on page 3, and I'd have to flip over because I don't have all 4 screens on the same. I hate that look. So I move over.
Well, the retainers, I don't think you can. You can only do the 2 large windows.
That's good. Well, I hate all 4 squares at the same time. Not a fan.
Oh, let's see. They've changed a bunch of prices. You can now sell, desynthesize, or submit items, blah, blah, blah.
Oh, this is cool. The item level of the Zodiac weapon, Anima, and Eureka weapons have been changed. Replicas have been changed to 1. You know, that is an issue with some pieces of gear. I have a set of gear that I keep on me, and I hope this is something I don't have to do in the future. I have a set of gear that's on me that it's level 60 gear, and I use my White Mage to do any of my glamours because I have some, and when I say glamours, my seasonal glamour, or just any of my walkabout town glamour, because I have some pieces that are higher than level 1, and you have to have, whenever you glamour onto another piece, that piece has to be of a higher, equal or higher level. What is it? No, equal or lower level than the one you're putting it on. No, equal or higher level. Equal or higher level than the one you're putting it on. So anyway, what I'm saying is, if I'm trying to glamour something that's level 70, I can't glamour that onto a level 1 item. You can't do it like that. So you can glamour a level 1 onto a level 70 item, but you can't do the opposite. So these high level weapons and some of the gear, you can't put them on something that's for a new job and you're just starting out or whatever. So I've got some little gimmicks and stuff that I do so I can wear things, but this is a good change.
Yeah, theoretically, I understand them not wanting to let you glamour a higher level weapon on a lower level, but okay. This next one was very interesting. To reduce system stress, the timing in which changes to gear durability and spirit bond are processed has been adjusted. So basically, every time you killed a mob, it would change the durability and spirit bond. And that was, I'm assuming, very expensive calculation-wise. So now, changes to durability and spirit bond are only processed after completing a duty. So with the exception of treasure dungeons and fates, gear will not lose durability, nor will it gain spirit bond if the duty's failed. So that's you're also still gonna lose the same amount of durability upon dying, but it's just calculated differently.
I mean, if it helps the servers move, small indie company, if it helps these servers move smoother or whatever, that's fine.
Yeah, but you no longer are getting to get spirit bond on open world mobs. That's one of the things.
Oh, is that true? You can't spirit bond in open world. Oh,
enemies defeated, and
the long gone are those days of North Shroud spirit bond farming, I guess.
Now, so but fates do count. Instance dungeons, raid dungeons, alliance raid dungeons, trials, fates, the mass carnival, Baldician Arsenal Expedition boss encounters, and treasure dungeons. So if you're fate grinding, you're still going to get spirit bond. But I bet it calculates after the mob is dead.
And nobody has done, maybe they do. But I can't imagine people were doing like how we used to do in the North Shroud of getting all the flies together or whatever it was and killing those things. I can't see somebody running around the Tempest trying to get a bunch of mobs together to spirit bond their gear.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
You can now search your materials to find what recipes they're used in, so that's cool. They've added trial synthesis, which just lets you practice a craft, basically, to see, basically just practice your crafting rotation to see if you can make it or not. Oh, let's see. They've changed the crafter action collectible synthesis. Now, basically, if you have to have it for a collectible, it's just going to be a collectible. There's not both.
I love it. I love that change.
I'm fine with that. Oh, let's see. A class trait. Oh, okay. At level 15, you get practice makes perfect, which lets you do trial synthesis. Oh, there's some other stuff. You can now talk to a dude for custom deliveries. We already talked about that. Let's see. Oh, they also changed it so collectible turn-ins are not going to change on a daily rotation.
Oh, that's good.
Because I've been fucked by that a few times, where you craft all the stuff up, you walk over there, and you're like 30 seconds after the window, and it's changed. I don't know. Let's see.
I am surprised by the amount of stuff they packed into this patch. I'm going to be honest.
Actually, yeah.
They packed a lot of stuff.
Well, some of the stuff I haven't gotten the new Miner and Botanist and Gathering and Fish. I haven't actually gotten any of that. They've changed the requirements that show up when you're gathering for perception-based bonuses. It used to be like, if it's less than this, the gathering fortune's that. Otherwise, if the perception's greater than this, you can actually have a chance at high quality. That made it easier.
Yeah.
They've changed how they display the ocean fishing points.
Yeah, we're really getting into the quality of life season.
Yeah.
And 5.4, I mean, it's usually the 4.4s. We get a bunch of quality of life. I mean, expect some big G-pose stuff probably. And
stickers.
Well, we did get stickers. That is correct.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know. Let's see. There's a lot of stuff in here. They've added new items to the Calamity Salvagers. I'm kind of curious what those are. If it's just new items or some old items that your character info knows if you've done something or not, and you could go get something, buy back off your Calamity Salvagers if you had earned it but tossed it. Let's see. No, we're into system stuff now.
Yeah, and I can't think of anything that was particular jumped out at me from.
Okay. Search function to the Orchestrion.
Okay, that's good.
Okay, I will grant you search function to the Orchestrion. Stickers to screenshots.
Here's one that got me. Enmity can now be manually reset when attacking a striking dummy. So
okay, and if were you confused how to do it?
Well,
the first time?
I ran away from it, but then somebody else in the chat was like, "I can't join the duty because I couldn't get far enough away or something like that." And there's a button, right?
Yeah, I right click on the striking dummies mob bar, and you just say reset enmity.
Cool.
It's actually a nice change because it used to have to just run far away
and come back. Yeah.
But now you run far away and it doesn't reset.
Doesn't do anything. Yeah.
All right. There's a lot of other stuff, but this is long already, so they got a lot of resolved and found issues, and we're only halfway down. So, the patch. I finished most of the patch the first day. The only thing I hadn't done is the redacted primal for the most part.
Yeah.
But there's still stuff to do. I mean, I don't have all the mounts. I don't have all the minions. We're getting the, we're getting the rising. I'm sure that won't be huge and long or anything, but
right.
It's kind of revitalized the interest in the game, I think, for a lot of people.
Yeah, and as long as that interest can stick around for 6 weeks, you can slide into whenever Relic will start to come around.
We're getting the Relic and the next phase of Ishgard Restoration.
So we're on week 2, so you just got to kind of keep up the momentum. Keep doing your 24-man raid. Keep logging in and hanging out with folks and enjoying it. Yokai is here. Enjoy that. Yelta's already blown through it, so she.
It was only 4 hours. I thought it would take. She
can't enjoy it. Well, elitist.
All right, let's skip down very super quickly to what's on tap. It's a developer's blog. It was basically the Yokai event. So Sicer writes about the Yokai event and shows off the new mount and how to do it. It's another good place to look if you are confused what you're supposed to be doing. There is a Yokai medallion It is in the collection from the duty category. This is a menu I sometimes forget even exists, but I know that like Beldandy was like, oh, it's all there. So that all the information on all the yokai and stuff is there. So, and even a reminder to make sure you're in the correct location with the correct minion to profit.
Yes.
They show all 3 of the mounts. So, very, very nice. Whew. I think we're done now. I think it's closing time. Yes. All right. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. You can find links to all of our episodes and blog posts on our website, www.gtffxiv.com. While you're there, leave us a comment. And if you'd like to, you can support us by clicking the donation button. You can find us on Twitter at GTFFXIV. You can email us at gtffxiv@gmail.com. Please rate us. Ruby, personal plugs.
Yes, you can find me on Twitter at Rubicon Vale, RUBICONVALE.
And you can find me on Twitter at Yelta Sumasu, YELTASUMASU. As always, thanks for listening, and we will catch you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.